hit the record button, and then it starts recording our voice. And this is for who?
Julie, Sam, and Jaylani.
Okay, so these three friends are going to get an email from Miss Oswald tonight with this video on it because we want them to learn while they're at home too, right? Yeah. So what we remembered is what is an array, and we focused in on that in the beginning of our lesson. And we talked about an array being a group of objects, then we put together, they make a rectangle or a square. And Michael, if you remember, we counted 4 on this end and 6 here to make an array to make 24. We also used this and we talked about rows and columns, and because this made a rectangle, it was an array. We talked about this example, and because it had 2 rows and 7 columns, it was an array. And then Trey reminded us that this was not one, and he pointed out that we were missing this part colored in to make that rectangle to make it an array. Then we challenged you guys to create your own arrays. What I want you to do is look at these pictures because these are arrays that some of your friends made. Here's this one. Now when we look at this array, what makes this picture an array? Trey.
It's a square.
It's a square. So we see all of these together make a square. How many rows? Garrett.
3.
There are 3 rows. Here's a row, here's a row, here's a row, and there are 3 rows. How many columns? Landon. 3 columns. There we go. So how many do we have all together? If we have 3 rows, 3 columns.
6.
You would be right if we had 2 rows. But we have 3 and 3 and 3. 9. Excellent. Let's take a look at the next picture. Thank you for your work, Cheyenne. Here's another one. Remember the difference between rows and columns. We're sitting in a movie theater. Rows. How many rows are there?
It's hard.
Yes, Sydney.
4. You never know.
Okay. Rows. 2. How many columns?
I made it hard.
Orlando.
7.
7. How many are there all together? There are 2 rows and 7 columns. Dominic, how many? 7 rows, but there's 2 of them. So how many do you have all together?
It is.
Phone a friend.
9.
2 plus 7 is 9, but I want you to think about it. He's got 2 rows, and there's 7 in each row. So how many squares did he use? Josiah?
14.
14. Because, and we remember, we actually practiced this one. We could say 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2, 14. We could say 7 plus 7, 14. Or we could count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 to get 14. All right, here's our last picture. Think about rows and columns. Remember, you sit in the movie theater for rows. How many rows do you see here? I don't know your name in the very back. What is it? Gracie. How many? 3. You nailed it, Gracie. 3. Columns, hold it up. How many columns do we have? JJ. 5. How many do we have all together in this example? Michael. Oops, sorry. How many?
8.
You're right that 5 plus 3 is 8. But I've got 5 plus 5 plus 5. How many do I have, Genius?
15.
15. Good job. Okay, now, here's what I want you to do, and this is where listening is going to be really a big deal. I'm going to ask you to count out a certain number of tiles. I want you to see if you can make pairs. We're going to make an array of 2 to see if it is an even number. Here's your number. I want you to first count out 15. Any color, 15 tiles. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at Sophia's. I'm going to have Sophia explain what she did. Because Sophia, she made an array. Here's her array up there. You can see it. Sophia, when you have 15 and you're using an array to prove if it's even or odd, what does this picture show you?
That 15 is an odd number.
Tell me, and I want you to circle how you know. Oh, look at what she's circling. She circled that extra one. She realized that this part here, this makes a very nice array. But this guy means he doesn't have a partner. So 15 is an odd number. Okay, your next challenge. Get 23 out.
Okay.
23. Now you're pairing them up. So I'm going to see 2 rows or 2 columns. Nice job, Cheyenne. 2 rows or 2 columns. Let's take a look at Landon's picture. Here's Landon's picture. Landon, is 23 even or odd?
Odd.
Okay, I'm gonna ask for you. Go perfect. Show. No, it's gonna be kind of thick. Hold on, let me change this. Or not. Show me how you know that it's odd.
Because this one's left out.
That one's left out. That one doesn't have a partner. So without a partner, that means it is an odd number. Okay. Oh, and I love how I'm seeing Dominic go thumbs up. You did the same thing. Perfect. All right. Now, here's your last one. You have 23. Now make 24.
We just have to add 1.
Yeah, babe.
Yeah. What comes after 23? Okay, let's take a look. I'm looking to see if you can talk to your partner. Is 23 going to be even or odd, and explain why? Got it? Okay. Okay. I am looking for one person that's going to explain this using their awesome math words. But here's the challenge. Listen carefully. Remember that our learning goal was to be able to use the word array all the time and use an array to show if a number was even or odd. So when you explain this to our friends who are absent that are going to watch this, you have to use the word array, and you have to explain how 24 shows that it is even or odd. All right, so raise your hand if you think you can explain it to them. All right, I have not heard from you this whole time, my friend Damien. All right, Damien, you can't really do much, but I want you to explain to our friends at home how you know that 24 is even or odd.
Wait, so I just like write.
Just use your words. Just talk.
So 23 is odd because it doesn't, because every single one has like a partner, but one of them doesn't have a partner, because when I count on my array that I made, I counted that everybody has a partner, but one doesn't.
Okay, and what about 24?
24 is even because everybody has a partner because even though that 23 had no partner, if we add one more, then it would be even because the partner that was left out has a partner now.
Excellent, and it filled up our array, didn't it? Nice job. All right, what I'd like for you to do is I'm going to look for the first table that has every one of their cubes or their tiles back in their baggie. While that we've got some golden tickets going on here, I want to point you to what you're going to be doing. Miss Oswald and I are going to be walking around like detectives because we want to see how you're using the word arrays to prove if a number is odd or even. So we're going to be listening for those words to be spoken because you're going to be working on something very similar with partner pages. Miss Oswald is holding up the papers. You are going to use the number and the squares to prove if the number is even or odd, just like you did with the number tiles. We're going to walk around to hear how you're doing it. Now, the key here that I want you to look at is that you're going to make sure that you take turns. So here it says take turns, each one doing one, and then check each other to make sure you are using the word array and that you discuss why a number is odd or even. Very important. Because we're walking around, that's what we're going to be looking for. You're going to be working with your weekly partners. Well, the ones that she assigns for the week. Okay? Any questions? All right. Miss Oswald, we are ready to rock and roll and take our detective ears around this room.